3:20 in the morning on the 24th. Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. I hate Thanksgiving actually. I've always hated it. I can't stand it. It seems like a I just don't know why. I just never liked it. It's kind of funny. In the third grade, we had to choose who was going to be pilgrims and Indians, and I think there were two people out of the whole three second grade classes that chose to be pilgrims, and everybody else wanted to be Indians. That's kind of funny because my brother's 9 years older than me. We went to the same grade school, and it was almost the exact opposite back then. So I don't know. The shift from the 80s to the 90s there. Or no, was that still the 80s? That was 89. Oh Christ, I'm old. Anyway, I got a message from XSC3, and he's talking about, can we have a discussion over the difference between Catholics and Orthodox, or who's correct without being called anti this, anti that. I hope so. That's what's been going on ever since before I made a video saying the Roman Catholics changed the Tridentine Mass, and I got the label of anti-Catholic by two people who just started going crazy about it. And it all that stems from me mentioning about Scott Hahn, how he started referencing all this stuff about Eastern Christianity. That's not the Roman tradition, though. That's not. They don't still follow that. I mean, even before Vatican II, you could say that, oh, this is our, this is what's handed down. This is we respect the martyrs of this, and I don't think you can say that after it. I said that's our history. That's not theirs, because it's a whole revamp. It's a uh, reinventing Catholicism. It's what I see as Vatican II, and I got the whole thing. You're anti-Catholic. And that's these string of videos that I've been making about this, about Mystical City and the double-sided, have basically been me just saying no, I'm not, but angrier as I do things. Uh, but it's kind of funny because through their just extreme rage, I mean, they did make innovations, did change things. Um, they try to bring up the Trinity, but the Trinity is not a word in the Bible. So I was expounding on that. Just, okay, those are the ecumenical councils. And they try to say, well, Pope has to call an ecumenical council. Well, they didn't call the first one. And no, the emperor. That's why there's no more ecumenical councils, because the emperor needs to call an ecumenical council. That's the only person who can call them. The I mean, yeah, it got wacky and out of hand, and I was just getting irritated with this guy just because of the strange, wild arguments that they throw out there, and especially Mystical City and the double-sided. It's too bad we had to meet over this topic. Let me just read to you a little bit of this. I don't think XSC3 would be so irritated if I read this. He says, I was commenting on the situation with those two guys in Mystical City and whoever that you were accusing of acting like Protestants and being anti-Orthodox. I'm not sure I ever said they were anti-Orthodox. I think I think I accused them of being anti-Catholic. Actually, I told them to go back to the Catholic Church. I hope you don't take down my comments as don't take my comments as any type of attack on you or anything. I'm not gonna take down your comments, and no, I already know you. I was just wondering that, admittedly, very few Orthodox Christians I've ever talked to about theology have a sort of telling me calmly why Catholics are wrong, and the opposite is true of the majority of Catholics I've ever talked to. But Orthodox, which is a much larger number, I don't know what that means. Do you mean that the Orthodox have always been screaming why the Catholics are wrong? Most Orthodox that you meet, they probably just want to go on being Orthodox and don't really care about telling anybody else about it and just say, oh yeah, we're Christian too. And it's funny, it's very strange in the last couple of years that I've seen how anti-Orthodox some Catholics are, which I would always come to a Catholic and say, oh yeah, hey, I'm Orthodox. We got something, yeah, my neighbors, hey, we're the same, and try to build bridges or whatever, but they seem to look at you as like, well, if you're not Catholic, then you're not part of the ancient church. Even though we do things in the ancient way and the Catholics do things post Vatican II. So my view could be skewed. Maybe it sounds like that will either be perceived as Catholics thinking we're not supposed to debate this, but lie down and take it, or someone will see it as, aha, the Orthodox are right, and you guys know it and can't say anything. That's not that's not my intention there. Uh, okay. Again, I don't really know how to respond to that one. And then the other thing is, I said I wondered if it was possible for an Orthodox Christian to defend the differences over and against a Roman Catholic or vice versa without being perceived as anti the other group. Thank you. Thank you. That's basically my whole point in trying to stop the attacks. And yes, it was a mistake making that extra video. Should have just left it as let's not argue about this stuff. But then I got spam comments again. Um, Usually when I think of anti, I think of denying their own definition. In other words, as anti-Catholic is someone who denies Catholics are Christians, which I don't. Catholics are Christians. They aren't just disagreeing with with something Catholics do, or thinking that few Catholic teachings practicing are wrong or practices are wrong. They're saying Catholics follow false religion and imply their own religion is true in the process, which I don't do. I think the Rome is a valid see. It's gone off track. It can't be a teacher. It should come back, and there should be a bishop of Rome is Orthodox. Uh, the Orthodox Church hasn't sent over a bishop to occupy the See of Peter in Rome. They haven't done that, and Rome hasn't done that in Constantinople. They both still look at each other. Rome sees Constantinople in full communion. Now Antioch is a different story. That's everyone tries to lay claim to Antioch. Everyone, and I think the same is true for Alexandria too. Alexandria, Antioch, and Jerusalem really get screwed. And if you look at Antioch and Alexandria, the ancient seas. So that point of view, okay, POV, I'd be anti-Mormon because I'm anti-Mormon. Yeah, we're both anti-Mormon, absolutely, because we believe that Mormons who practice what Mormonism teaches, because we don't believe that they're Christians. Yeah, I don't have to physically assault a Mormon or hate them in order to do that. That's just my opinion, of course, to try to argue with Mormon or try to proselytize. The whole thing we're not allowed to proselytize thing, obviously you and I disagree over. Yeah, and there's the Great Commission. Alright, there's some misunderstanding there. I should go into that. The Orthodox, when we say proselytize, because I think there's something getting caught up. Obviously, and there's different ways of quote unquote missionary work. There's it's not allowed in Christian countries where it's allowed in, let's say, certain places in Africa and stuff like that, in Southeast Asia, that are different than they would be. Let's say if you go to a Catholic country, the Orthodox already see them as Christians, so it's not. We take a much kinder view to that. I'll explain that in another video. I think if these guys watched enough of your videos, they'd see that you're not a hater or a supporter as far as the Catholic Church is concerned, but something in between. You don't even go to the typical evangelical Protestant way of saying, well, I love Catholics as individuals, I just hate everything they believe because it's false. Yeah, no, I love Catholics, and I I would tell an evangelical to go to a Catholic church any day over their church because it's an actual church. Maybe extremely stripped down, but it's an actual church. Um, and the Catholics are commanded to believe in the body and blood, unlike the Episcopalians that are play acting. They're playing church. You create so many videos, but it gives a great opportunity to discuss a lot of topics. I don't know where you get the time or patience, but kudos once again. It's because I don't have set hours. Just like the reason why I'm waking up at 3:20 in the morning. Well, it's 3:31 right now, which means this video is over 10 minutes long, and I'm going to cut it short. Yeah, it's 11. Well, let's just call it 12 minutes. And I'll get back to this. I don't know if this is going to generate a lot of crazy comments either, but yeah. Well, again, if I take down the video, then you can't see the comments, so I think I'll just leave it up. But peace to you.